Noah, the 200 has been your event for years, but now you're very proud of the fact that you're the fastest man on earth. So, how do you compare the two? Which one going into Tokyo is really special for you?
Gosh. It's hard. Because the 200 has a personal spot with me. Even, not being fit or being sick for the Olympics was extremely heartbreaking in the moment. Like, I had seen so many practices leading up to Paris that was showing that I was going to PR in the 200, and it hurt a lot. And it was a lot of the reason why I decided I need to try at least, because I never know what my body could produce. But the 100 it's obviously the glory race, It's obviously the one that gets you the most attention, I could say if I won the 200 and lost the 100, it wouldn't have hit the same going back to the U.S., for sure. And probably even in the world, it would be a lot different.
And the rematch with Showman, would you like to see that happen more often in the season? I know your season started later, but would you like to see that on a more regular basis?
Personally, I wanted to just do a 1v1 race in Jamaica. I thought that would have just been amazing. Me and him, just like, hey, we're going to sell out the whole stadium. It's just going to be me and him. Maybe throw in some before races, have some other people do some 200s, 100s and stuff like that. But me and Shane right next to each other, lane by lane, just us two dueling it out. I feel like we could have sold out the crowd for sure. I thought that would have been a lot of fun.
It's hard to not notice your hair. Is this some kind of prophecy what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in Tokyo? Because you have some goals to be different from that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces that go into it. One is it's been a while since I dyed my hair. I always liked it, but it was so hard to maintain. And it's also, of course, a nod to anime, Goku, Super Saiyan, and getting to Tokyo. I'm not going to be back home from now till Tokyo, so I had to dye it now. And two, Janelle has informed me that she fell in love with short-haired Noah. So for the wedding, I will be cutting my hair to appease her. I want to show my best in her eyes when she comes down the aisle. So I was like, okay, it's hard to maintain. I'm probably going to have to cut it if I dye it again, so I might as well do it now.
How much do you remember from Bydgoszcz, difficult name to pronounce?
It is.
9 years ago, you won a gold for the World Junior Championships. How much do you remember from that start, and how much did you change as a person since 2016?
I'd say I remember the whole thing. We were just talking about it, me and Michelle were just talking about it a few hours ago at breakfast. But yeah, I remember the whole thing. I remember the day. It's also where, after I won the 100 that night, I signed my professional contract with Adidas. It was my brother's birthday as well. It was a big day. There was a lot going on. And it was kind of, I think it also helped because I'm now the only man who's won World Juniors and World Championships in the 100, which was pretty cool. I had no idea. That was a pretty cool stat to figure out. I didn't think I'd be the first one, but there's so many things of how the journey started, and where it's led up to. I'd say, would I say I changed? I definitely changed. For sure. I'm now known as the doubler. It was also proof at the time that I could win the 100 early on. It was a lot of things that I felt that meet was almost like foreshadowing for in the future. And now we're here, and it's like, wow, you look back at that and it's like, wow, there's so many accolades that have been from that moment to this moment, but it all, it's all fun to look at.
One more question we asked Wonder this as well. You're good at a lot of things. Yeah. What are you bad at?
Reading. Dyslexia does not help with reading. And in fact, me and Janelle started doing Bible studies together, and we read the Bible out loud. There are some nights where I'm really good, and there are obviously nights where I'm just getting my butt kicked. And there are some names in there, and I'm just like, nope. And you'll be reading it, and they use the same name. It's like, and that's when God told, nope. You just go to the next word.
It's good to know that you keep it as well.
Thank you.
I wonder how much do you remember from that night in Paris 1 year loved by the fans, but how much do you remember as the winner of this race? Do you remember the feeling? Do you remember the preparation to the race, the direct preparation? Do you remember the race?
Oh, yeah.
This 10 seconds.
No, it was the amount of stories I could probably tell about the actual day. It was wild. I mean, I had so many things planned in my head, and this is a story about how things don't always go the way you want. I had actually, so, you know, everybody saw me at World Championships. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, anime fan in general, but, you know, I actually had bought a Millennium puzzle to actually, like, wear into the race and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make sure this is seen, because it's going to be seen on Sprint later in the year, and, you know, it's going to, like, you know, solidify the connection. And I remember, like, going into the semifinals, losing, thinking that I should have won, and being, like, so frustrated. I'm like, you know what? Forget the antics. Forget all that stuff. Like, I threw the puzzle away. Like, I was so, like, dived in. I called my sports therapist in between the rounds, and we, like, were, like, you know, really getting my mindset into the race. And even, you know, of course, there's only the 100-meter runners left at the end of the night, so everybody's doing their thing. And I was so stuck on, like, I have to. And finally, you know, the thought came down to, it's like, I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is be me. And what am I the best at? I'm the best at being me. And ever since I kept thinking that way, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to win this race. And all of a sudden, my blocks started getting better, and my flies were getting faster in the span of literally 5 minutes, you know. And it's like, okay, I'm starting to see it come together. And then, you know, we go out, and, you know, they're announcing the names, and it's just so crazy how the Olympics works. You know, they fine you for being a showman. So I think Shane got fined because he yelled in the middle of his intro, and they tried to they fined me after the 200, you know, my entrance. But it's those entrances that make the crowd excited. They get people wanting to come back. So it's like, you know, whatever.
So did they finally fine you?
No. What, they're going to find the guy who actually brings them in money? I just won't show up next time.
I wanted to get into that because 100 meters is the most unexpected event. For sure, you want to go to the Olympics, you want to triple go to the Olympics. Do you feel like you're face of the track and field? Do you feel some responsibility because of that?
I think that I'm going to just put it like this. There are definitely races that have Noah, and there are races that don't have Noah. And I've watched the numbers for races that don't have me, and they don't do very well. And then you go on and you watch the races with me, and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, there's a lot more viewership. I'm not saying I'm the face of the sport. I'm just saying that there's a lot more interest when I run.
Sebastian Coe like to say that you are like a rock star for athletics. Do you like this?
I'd say rock star is a good way to describe it. A showman, a rock star, you know, I'd say yes, that's a very good way to describe how I like to view myself when I go into a track meet and how I want to interact with the crowd.
I would ask, how would you describe yourself by using an anime character? Dragon Ball.
No, because Goku's a little too simplistic. I'm a little more complicated than that.
This is the hardest question I see.
Lelouch.
And the last one, okay?
Yeah, Lelouch from Code Geass. He has this ability that he can tell people, he can make people do one action that they have to obey once in their lifetime. But that's not the part that I like about him or why I describe. He's extremely smart, he's extremely powerful, and he plots out everything. Like, everything I do it's never just one moment. It's a build-up of moments. If you see me doing something, that means it's going to build up along the way. I'm never just doing one thing just because, you know, it is. Like, it's never really random. Sometimes it is, but very rarely. There's usually an underlying reason for everything that I do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
200's your wife and the 100's your girlfriend. You're getting married now.
Yeah.
Where does all of this sit in?
It's in the backseat now. And Janelle now says that I'm married to both. So there is no mistress, there is no girlfriend, there's only marriage.
What's about a training or wedding planning?
They're both pretty equal. I actually like planning. In fact, I am the wedding planner. Like, getting Janelle, like, I'm kind of like pulling Janelle to do wedding planning with me. Like, yeah, there's certain things that she definitely wants, but for the most part, I'm doing all the planning.
Last one for me. You started fairly young this season.
Yeah.
How important is it for you to get those last races in before the big one? How important is Poland on your way to the big one?
These are probably the most important races of the year. Of course, the most important is the one that starts, so I have to start somewhere, but these are definitely the most important. Like, these are the biggest competition. These are on high levels. This is literally prepping myself to say, okay, this is what it's going to be like, if not more intense, as I get closer to Tokyo. Like, I need to get in that frame of mind, so I need to be in these situations. Anybody else?
What do you think about Fred Carroll's whereabouts? It is another big case after Christian Coleman with whereabouts. Is it something that we need to worry about?
I think you should ask him that.
Noah, how far are you from these results you presented 2 years ago in the social media? 965, 100 meter and 910, 200 meters?
I'd say that the results I've seen in practice have shown that I'm exactly where I was last year, or heading in the same direction as I was last year, if not better. So, if you're looking for some wild number for me to throw out there, I don't have one for you. I guess you'll just have to wait for Tokyo.
So far, we have heard from your coach and from your manager that you are just fired up. What convinced you this year finally to come to Silesia? Don't say it. If it's whiskey or this, don't.
Is this the point where I get to ask or answer my risky answer? The wild. So apparently alcohol, and we have not the freaking weather, and
yeah.
Unfortunately, I did
flow.
not write down an answer for this part of the interview, but it just was part of the season. You know, that's really what it came down to. I need races, and we were looking at the schedule, and Poland came up. It was like, well, we've never been to Poland Diamond League. The coach is like, it's a good place to run. I said, all right, put it on the schedule. Let's go.
Olympic gold, World Championships gold, what motivates you the most? Like, is it yourself? Is it the opponent next to you? Is it a chance to break records, or is it just a win? Or is something totally different?
It's constantly forcing myself to have to be better or be in different positions. You know, when I first started, a lot of people knew me as a 200-meter runner. I always knew myself to be a 100-meter runner as well. I just didn't have the part of my career that could showcase that. After I got the 200 on lock, I moved on to adding the 100, and we put a lot of work into that. And these are the results, you know. Got the triple gold at Budapest, you know, the Olympic gold in the 100, bronze in the 200 at the Olympics, and now I'm known as one of the best 100-meter runners in the world and the world's fastest man. So constantly forcing myself into uncomfortable positions so that I have to show up, constantly putting myself into races where people might have faster season bests than me or PRs than me. It's like, that's what gets me excited, you know, having to step up to the plate and make the moment count.
Thank you for this, Noah, because I was thinking about for a couple of years what's going on and what would be the response. But like, it has been a year since this magical Paris night, and right now, after 1 year, you will be again against Shane on the track, right after a year. So is it anything special for you that you will be together on the same track after 1 year, or you just treat it as regular race?
No, I mean, it's going to be a fast race regardless. I mean, you basically have the Olympic final, maybe missing 2 people, adding in some just as fast people. It's going to be good regardless. Of course, having Kashane there, it makes it even better. I mean, this is going to be a moment that I think everybody's going to be looking at their calendar and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to base my World Championship picks off of, whether it helps them or not. You know, it's going to be exciting.
No, so now it's the time to present our memorial records, and this one, which is on 100 meters, it will be presented in a second, so main records I will tell you that 100 meters meet record is 987. It will be presented in a second. 987 from US guys. Ronnie Baker in 2018 and Fred Curley last year. Do you think that this is under danger, this 987 tomorrow?
I guess you'll have to watch.
Thank you very much, Noah Lyles. Thank you for coming to